Okay, Spiderman. You can start if you want to just play the first note as a harmonic. You can just do that with the fourth finger. Make sure you're ready to go with your third finger though, that it's in tune. Probably a second finger for the C, and then a first finger for the A. Or you can do harmonic and 3-1, but the C is really important that it's in tune. Okay, so the 16th notes starting after 15, they're really hard, and this whole passage here to 31 is really hard. So yeah, so go really slow. 23. F flat is just an open E. And then your F flat here is a second finger in half position right next to the E flat, which is your low first finger. Now stay in half position. Second finger for the A natural, fourth finger for the C, second finger across to the D string for the E natural, and then open A. And then back to first position, so go up to the C. Now up a half step to A natural. Now here, honestly, if you can just get the first note of each beat, that'll be fine. B, C, C sharp, D sharp, E, A. Now here, try to get all the notes again. F sharp. So anytime you have something fast, the best way to practice it is one beat at a time plus the downbeat of the next, plus the first note of the next beat. So if I were practicing this, the tempo is 126 for the quarter note, but maybe you would start something like 100, one beat at a time. So this is what I would practice. And you can repeat it as many times as you need to. And that doesn't mean you have to go at that speed. You can go even slower than that. You probably should. You want to make sure you're playing correctly and in tune. But then you go from that note you ended on to the next. Now once you practice the whole thing that way, then do the same thing with a measure at a time, plus the note of the next measure. And you go through the whole thing like that. And then you can start to put measures together. So that's my favorite way to practice when I need to get something fast. All right, at 32, you're going to catch the string, forte. So curl your fingers, they're extended, and you're going to curl them to get a good accent. And then you're going to release the pressure on the string so you get a soft piano. And then you're going to gradually increase the bow speed to a big crescendo. Now, at 39, we're going to split this. So you're either going to be playing the first beat of every measure. This is going to be how we do 39 to 49. You're either going to play the first beat of each measure, or you're going to play the second beat of each measure, or you're going to play the third beat of each measure. And that's how we're going to play it. So, because it's just too hard to do all three of them and to get it. So, if you're playing the first beat of each measure, it's going to sound like this. same thing 4 times, and then the second line of this, 2 of the same, and then, so that's the same as the first 4. And then for the third line of this, you're going to go into second position. First finger's on G, fourth finger's on C, third finger across the A string, a half step from where the fourth finger is, that's your E, and then the first finger is a direct hop to the C. If you can put your first finger on both strings and play the fifth, that'll help you to avoid having to hop over quickly. So here's that beat, and it happens twice, and then you come in on the downbeat of 49. If you're playing the second beat, so here's your part. So you do that 4 times, and then make sure you take a look at the B flat from the beginning of the measure so that you're still playing B flat. Then back to what you did before. And then the next line. And then you come in at 49. If you're playing the third beat, and you'll have it hardest going straight into 49. Okay, 49, third position. So to get this in tune, put your second finger next to the first finger but on the A string, and then put your fourth finger on the C. If they're both down, it'll make a nice smooth transition in that slur. So try to get them both down at the same time. And then put your third finger down on the F, and your fourth finger will go right next to that, and that's the G flat. Hop your second finger to the E string. Make sure your D is now, fourth finger is a whole step, not like it was when you were playing the G flat. Now a whole step for the D, and then back to first position. All right. So for this, let's see. It starts down bow. So do 1 beat plus a note. Make sure your E flat carries over into that last beat. It's a string crossing there. Also, you can practice with separate bows if it's helpful, and it probably will be. Okay. So, I think just to recap, there's a lot of really hard things in Spiderman, especially this page here. So, what would be the most important, and I think doable, is the 16th notes after 15 until measure 24. Yeah, that 5th line of the music, starting on the E flat, that gets really, really hard. So if you can just keep your place and play the first note of each beat, that's fine. And then when you get to 29, try to get these notes. All right, but make sure that you're right on the beat with each first note of each 4. And then 39 is really important, which is why I'm splitting it, dividing it within the section by 3. You'll have to talk to me about which beat you should be playing so that we're not all practicing the same one. And then 55 and 56 are really important. So 49, of course, all of that's really important too. That's really exposed. The 16th notes that I'm kind of having you not, I don't want you to, I mean, you can practice it if you want to, but I don't want you to spend all of your time on it because it's not even going to be heard, honestly, with all the other things going on in the orchestra. So I just want to be upfront with you on where your practice time is best spent. And for sure, 49 to 57, that needs to be really good. Okay, hopefully that helps you kind of prioritize.